All right, I think we're live. Welcome
We
back
are.
to Soxy Chicks. This is now episode 5, so thank you all for sticking with us through this. It's been fun. I am Crystal O'Keefe, obviously, and I am joined by my very lovely co-host Bailey.
Hello. How's everybody doing out there? We're gonna talk baseball, even though we're both very mad at baseball right now. It
We
is
both
what it is.
baseball. We're gonna just completely quit our careers and
hmm
I don't know, run a dog farm.
Yes, because baseball's just over it.
So it's terrible, but yeah. So we'll break down some of the weekly stuff and
hmm
maybe rant a little bit. If you're watching us live, you can ask questions. We'll answer them.
Absolutely.
All right, where do you want to start?
Well, do we want to start with like the best news? The giant Trevor Bauer suspension?
The tweet I sent you because I was like, I
Yes.
bet Bailey's at work and has not seen this
I
yet.
had not yet. I looked down and I was like, oh,
I'm gonna
such a great day.
say,
And then I texted my friend Lauren, who's a diehard Dodgers fan, and I was like, Lauren, have you seen this yet? And she's like, oh my God, today's a great day. So, yeah, even Dodger fans are very, very, very happy.
yes, it is a very small, minuscule victory today for any victim. Trevor's victims, any victim that has dealt with this. It feels good to see someone take action. This is the longest ban in baseball. He's out for the
Yeah.
rest of his contract.
I'm just so happy because, like, up until this, the longest was A-Rod with his 162 game suspension. And the fact is that, yeah, sure, no criminal charges came against him, but clearly there was just overwhelming evidence that Major League Baseball so proud that they actually did something, but they did something substantial, like
They
very
definitely did their
substantial.
homework if they suspended him for that long, because I mean there have been 3 women. There were 2 in Ohio, and this one was still minor leagues when he was still in the minors, and then one on the Reds, and then the one out here, well, out there in LA. So they did some homework. I feel like a lot of that, like the texts and evidence that they had compiled against him, painted a pretty bad picture.
Yeah, and then like a lot of things came out too that like somebody had commented being like the Reds ticket department wasn't suspicious at all that like he left tickets under the name of like was it like dog on leash or something? Like they weren't like, "Huh, strange," or like anything like that. Or are you just in a position where like you're the ticket guy, can you question Trevor Bauer? And that's a power dynamic and I hate that too,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
I mean, I hate to say it, but you're not really on that same power level. You can't say something. You're going to lose your job if you try to talk back to Trevor Bauer,
Yeah.
which is disgusting in of itself. But man, I just took a deep breath and I was like, this might be the best day in baseball. Nothing can really hurt me today. My team can't hurt me
It's
today.
true. You have that high of just knowing that finally Manfred did something right.
Yeah, I was like, this
Like
is the only day I'm gonna respect Robbie F or Robbie M. Sorry.
No, it's true. But my question is like, has Bauer come out with a response yet? Because he's gonna try and fight it. I just didn't care to look.
So yes,
Of course.
so he is obviously going to appeal.
hmm
He also posted. Let me find the shirt because I don't remember what it said because I didn't want to give a lot of attention to it. But
hmm
there's a shirt up on his website now. What does it say?
Oh my God, you can like purchase something.
Um, there's a shirt that says "Bring Bauer Back" on his
Ugh,
website. Well,
that is
yeah.
disgusting. That is disgusting. That is disgusting.
So, if you want to buy that shirt, we'll
We won't
probably,
be friends.
yeah, we'll disown
Right.
you.
Yeah, we will not be your friend. But yeah, so finally Major League Baseball did something right. We can be very excited about this. For the people that are on Bauer's side, you're clearly trash. So
It's
I'll say
very
it.
toxic right now in the fantasy baseball community.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's just. I mean, I see a lot of Bauer apologists constantly, and they're like, "Well, what about Ozuna? He's back," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know he shouldn't be playing either. Like that's the
No,
point." these
Absolutely.
people should not be playing. Ben Roethlisberger should have not been playing if we're going to talk about like across all sports, you know.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
absolutely. It's just finally something has been done. It's like you need to make they're if they're finally making the example and it's him. Unfortunately, it wasn't Ozuna or this other person, but finally, so now when these things unfortunately do come to light again, because they will, it's not the end of this, there will probably be harsher punishment going forward. And I, for one, am happy about that.
yeah. I mean, he's basically been exiled from baseball. I do not
Oh, yeah.
see a
Who the
team
hell?
pick him up and
No.
for.
It's like that kid that sexually assaulted his like 5-year-old cousin. Not a single team wanted to go within like a 10-foot pole, and he had to go pitch in like the Mexican League
Yeah.
because not a single 30 teams were like, yeah, we're gonna give you a chance, even though you were one of the best collegiate pitchers that year. Like, no, we're not, because
I
you
don't
don't deserve it.
I don't think the KBO will even take him.
Probably not.
Like I think he's been exiled and
He's very rich, so he
yeah,
doesn't have to ever do anything again. Sure, he also this is without pay too, which is
yes.
fantastic,
And the
extra
99
fantastic.
days he had previously missed are also now without pay.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah, he's not making any money anytime soon from
But of
baseball.
course, he did make like 35 or what 43 last year. So unless we already know he's a sexual like perverted person, but maybe he's also not stupid with money. So he'll be fine for the rest of his life, you
Yeah,
know. And of course, there will be idiots that buy that shirt. So he'll be making money off of this. He'll be making money off his YouTube. So it's not like, oh my God, he's not gonna make money. He's still gonna make money. He's just never gonna pitch in Major League Baseball again. And that is fantastic.
yeah, because you can tune him out. You don't have to pay attention to his YouTube or his website.
Absolutely.
I have him
Absolutely.
muted on Twitter, and his agent
Yeah.
blocked me, so I don't have to see that.
It's unfortunate because there was a time where, like, I always thought he was just kind of like a weird, quirky kind of guy, and that I thought what he was doing in the beginning was, like, interesting for baseball, like, really trying to be like, "Here's my YouTube channel, here's this, here's that," and then when you just find out all of these horrible things and you find out what the person he actually is, you're like, "Oh, this is unfortunate on so many levels because you could have been maybe somebody who would have helped grow the game." But now it's like, "No, we don't even want you in our sport."
Yeah, I will also never forget the stupid drone incident.
Ugh. He lost them the World Series. That was a big factor in the granted, they blew a 3-1 lead too still, but, like, if he didn't, like, hurt his hand while, like, playing with his drone, like, yeah, like, who knows? That could have been a turning point for Cleveland in that World Series, but
He's
it's,
just an embarrassment to the sport, and
clearly dumb.
I don't care who wants to come in and defend him. I won't see your replies on Twitter because there's a guarantee I'm not following you if you're a Bauer apologist anyway.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't need those people in our lives at all. But, so enough about Trevor Bauer. I guess we can jump into something. Is there something else, that you thought was really interesting this week, Crystal?
Well, I was gonna say, and I have it in the notes, it's like my wholesome moment after
Mhm.
Trevor Bauer with the Contreras brothers. Yeah, William was called up after an injury,
Mhm.
and so they were able to go against each other because the Cubs had played Atlanta in that series, and they went out and like they exchanged their scorecards and gave her
Aw.
like big hugs, and then the post game interview with Wilson, he got very emotional. It was really
Aw.
sweet, and he was talking about how growing up, they just wanted to play Major League Baseball, and, like, that was their dream to do, and, like, it finally happened, and they got to play against each other, and it was, like, this really wholesome moment, and I was just like, "Oh, that's sweet." I don't like Wilson Contreras all that much, but that's really sweet.
Yeah, yeah, you can separate your dislike for a person or a team for, unless they're Trevor Bauer, for
Yeah.
like a wholesome moment like that. That is pretty cute.
Although I
Uh,
do have a little connection with Wilson. I was at, I think it was Cubs Pirates game at Wrigley for my birthday. Um, and Wilson had just been called up like earlier that day or maybe late that night before. And his very first at bat, the very first pitch, he hit a home run. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. You're not always like present for that. So it was just really neat to watch, even
oh
though,
yeah. I remember I was in Philadelphia and I saw Ryan Howard hit his 100th home run, and at that time he was the fastest person to get to 100. So like
Mhm.
that was pretty cool. And then unfortunately, injuries in this, he just didn't stay within baseball the way he maybe should have. But it's cool, yeah, just seeing like those little milestones for some of these guys. You never know what you're going to expect when you go to a baseball game, and that's part of the magic of baseball, I think.
It is. It was sweet.
All right, but let's talk a little bit. I caught the tail end of this. I didn't watch it or anything, but that brawl between the Mets and the Cardinals, like, man, Alonso getting like, imagine knocking down Pete Alonso. Like that's a feat in and of
Yeah, he's
itself.
a big guy.
It's a big boy.
That was just, I'm sorry. People can say what they want. Nolan is kind of a bitch. I never got that hype behind him. And he was just such a jerk about the entire situation. Like, he escalated all of that and then knocked Pete Alonso out. So I was kind of happy to see that he got suspended, and a bunch of people were fined. Genesis Cabrera was suspended and fined. That was the catcher. Or no, that was the reliever, sorry. And then Jack Flaherty.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Took off running onto the field, but he was on the injured list, so he got fined.
Like, do you really need to be in this fight, Jack? Like, do we need to be in this fight?
What are you doing, buddy? That was not super smart of
The
you.
testosterone be pumping, I guess.
None of the Mets players were suspended, just fined. But I thought it was kind of funny. Walker found out about it on Twitter.
Really?
He like quote tweeted that he had been fined, and he was like, "This is the first I'm hearing of this."
That's the thing, is like sometimes guys like don't know that they've been traded, like, which is hilarious to me that like, so you're telling me Jeff Passan finds out before like the agent can call someone to tell them that they've been traded, and then Passan just like throws it out there. Like, I find that, I mean, clearly it's a thing because people have been like, oh, I guess I was traded,
I feel bad when they find out that. I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, I'm like, that sucks. I would
it's
hate.
just a terrible communication,
Oh man.
It's like, I do love a good fight though, because especially because guys in baseball just usually do not know how to fight.
Yeah.
And it just makes it like the only ones that are out there that really know what they're doing is like hockey, because them boys can do it while on skates.
Yeah, hockey is impressive.
I can barely stand up on skates, let alone I was like telling my friend, I was like, I can do one thing really well on skates. I can go straight really fast, but I can't stop, and turns are a little bit of an issue. And how people can skate backwards, I'm just like, don't know how people can do that.
I don't think I can even skate. I loved watching figure skating and hockey as a kid.
So impressive.
And I would sit in like my grandparents' living room and like pretend I was doing this triple axel, but like without skates. And like, look what I can do. And my grandma was like, but can you do it on ice? And I was like, no.
Can I do it on ice?
Cool.
Yeah. No. I'm always like, the fact that they can like get in a fight while on skates is very impressive. Where there's like these baseball guys just like start coming out slapping each other and they don't even really know what to do. But yeah, so we got a good fight. Was this like the first big fight, I think?
I mean, the Mets have been kind of,
they've been getting hit in the head. Hasn't that really been what's been like really making them upset? I mean, and like you can't blame them.
2 hits just on the helmet this season so far. But yeah, so they keep getting hit, and I feel like it was just one of those like tensions rising thing, and then Nolan was like just talking back and causing a scene, and then it broke out. So I think it was long overdue, personally.
Yeah, and just all bubbled to the surface type situation.
Yeah, that's the first one I can think of. I haven't seen or heard of any other ones.
Yeah, or nothing that's made it where it's like, oh my God, all these suspensions were handed out, all of these fines. I'm always curious. I love how they always like let us know what they make, but they never really let us know like what they get fined. So I'm always kind of curious, like what the fine is. Like, is it literally like thousands of dollars? Like, I'm always kind of a little curious about what it is.
Yeah, and I think it varies too.
Oh, so, I would think so.
Like Tim Anderson got fined and suspended for flipping the bird to like Cleveland fans, but I don't know. He got suspended for a game. I don't know what he was fined though.
That's hilarious.
But like, Yankees players climbing up walls, they got off scot-free, but
yeah,
it's another,
of course. But a little flip off, If that's the worst thing, and who the hell knows what those fans were saying to him? Because
Yeah,
as we know, like I'd be like, sure, how about we investigate what was said to him that made him. Also, if that's it, and he's just gonna flip you off, I'd be like, that's cute. Like,
yeah. So it was silly, but I mean, it was kind of fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
oh, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was a lot of fun.
I was actually, I think I was covering a White Sox game that night, but I got a message from like a Mets mutual, and they're like, "There's benches clearing as we speak. You better turn on." So I'm like, pop up on my MLB TV app, and I'm like muting the White Sox because it was unbearable anyway. And I'm like, yes, do something fun.
Yeah, yeah. The unbearable hatred of how bad both our teams are right now. It's bad.
Yeah. I was just at a White Sox game Friday night. I got to see a beautiful Shohei Ohtani home run in like the very first inning. And Mike Trout was also there. It was supposed to be Noah Syndergaard pitching, and I got so excited because I was like, yes, Thor, like I want to see this. And then he got scratched because he wasn't feeling well.
Oh God, he's like, for somebody who's like built like a monster, he's very fragile.
Is incredibly fragile, but I mean, it was a really fun game for the Angels and Angels fans. It was cold and rainy and miserable, and the White Sox had one hit. No, they had two. They ended up with two hits that game.
It's all right. My team got no hit for 9 straight innings.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's life is pain as a White Sox fan right now.
Same as the Red Sox.
Yohan Moncada is rehabbing now, and he hit a home run, his very first home run in Charlotte. And Joe Kelly just did his first rehab.
Oh, is he almost good?
He pitched wonderfully. So I'm just like, all right. Lance Lynn might be back this month because we are now in May. So he's kind of scheduled to be back soon. Luis Robert just came back. Friday was the first day he came back. So I'm just like, okay, maybe we're getting the team back together. Could you suddenly get the team back together by Saturday when I'm in Boston to see them?
Yeah, and then could they just not be good when they're in Boston for my sake? we're both terrible right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a miserable game, I think, no matter what. So
it's just like the Red Sox are literally 9-14 and lost 2 of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles, including getting their asses literally handed to them to the point that Kevin Plawecki, their backup catcher, pitched today. But not to be outdone by, in the top of the 9th, JD Martinez hits a grand slam that brings it to 9-5. Good job, guys. We only needed another grand slam to tie it.
I saw somebody tweet something about how they finally hit a grand slam, but it doesn't really count for anything because you were down so bad.
It is. I can't explain how bad they are because it's like people want to get on High and Bloom. There are 2 things that you can absolutely get on High and Bloom for. The first thing is the bench depth is absolute shit. That's a fact. I don't really think that the bullpen is that bad. I think they've just been with somebody not being vaccinated and having to shuffle things like that. I think the pen can be fine when it's used properly. The starters have just been tremendous, which makes absolutely no sense. The other big problem is maybe there could have been another arm, whether it be in the rotation or whether it be in the bullpen. But then again, you're sort of going into the season thinking that Chris Sale is like over the hump, and then of course he just like breathes and his rib breaks. So there's definitely that, just not really being cognizant enough of like knowing how fragile Chris Sale can be. So maybe you get somebody else, or maybe you get somebody else for the bullpen. Those are the things you can definitely fault him for. You can't fault him for this lineup that's supposed to be good and was good all last season, literally being the definition of a shit sandwich. Like, you cannot fault High and Bloom for that. And that has been 99% of this problem of this team has been the offense, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah, the White Sox offense is honestly no better.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
They got 2 hits on Friday night, and I was like, this is like, it was a pitcher I'd never even heard of pitching for the Angels. And I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. His ERA was like over 6. I was like, you guys got 2 hits. off of some rando that they like picked up off the street and has an ERA over 6.
Yeah, and like at least everybody, all even though the Red Sox went to the ALCS in 2021, people still were like, "Oh, the Red Sox are going to suck in 2022," and I'm like, hilarious. Well, they are proving to suck, but like your team was like, everybody's like, "Ha, White Sox gonna win." So it's like, what is going on? Granted, April literally just ended. There is still more than enough time for both of our teams. Like, I got people on Twitter being like, "So, how much do you think we could get for Xander Bogaerts when we trade him?"
No.
I'm like, one, no trade clause.
No.
Two, April literally just ended.
Yeah.
So it's the ridiculousness of fans. Like, that's really what makes me more angry. It's just people on Twitter. Yeah, and then people being like, "Oh, you're part of the Balluminati." Also hilarious. I love Chaim Bloom. I still think that Chaim Bloom is doing everything right in the long run for this team. I think he was a little short-sighted on certain areas. Yeah, and the overachievement of 2021 blinded him a little bit, especially when it came to like Bobby Dahlbeck just being a beast for the second half of 2021, where he was like, "Oh, why am I going to go make a trade when I can just roll with Bobby? And if I have Bobby and I have Tristan Casas, like that's a problem, a great problem to have." Whereas Bobby, literally not even hitting his weight, his on base percentage even isn't his weight. That's how terribly he has been playing.
Yeah, I see a lot of tweets that are like, "Let's trade Andrew Vaughn." And I'm like, no, are you drunk or high? We are not trading like the best hitter we currently have on our team. A lot of Luis Robert trade talk, and I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no, again,
people are dumb. Like,
you're drunk. And then Jake Berger, who is quite possibly better at third right now than Yohan Moncada is.
yeah, you never know.
He's been making like amazing plays. He's been hitting the ball, and I'm like, we're not trading those guys. Like, find somebody else. We don't really have anybody on the farm right now for a prospect, but you're drunk if you think those three are going anywhere.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. Like, yeah, Bobby Dahlbeck, because everybody's like, they should have traded Bobby Dahlbeck. Or my favorite is when there's like a recency thing within baseball. So like of the past like 2 days, Hunter Renfroe has had like 2 really good games for himself. But prior to that, he was like butt. And like people are like, "Oh my God, you traded Renfroe, blah 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 for JBJ, blah 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 blah." I was like, if you have 8 people in your lineup that are fantastic, you don't care about Jackie Bradley Jr. You care that the boy can make a catch that nobody else can make except for him. But the problem isn't JBJ. The problem is that the other 8 people suck. So like that's the issue. And Hunter Renfroe has been good for like 2 games overall. Not that great overall with the whole season. I bet he's not going to be that great. And the 2 prospects that they got in that trade have been raking. Other favorite thing is when fans are like, "Oh yeah, those prospects, what are they doing for the Red Sox right now?" I'm like, wouldn't you love though if like look at 2023, your team is so damn stacked and 2 of those are because of this trade? Yeah, shut up. I hate fans. I'm sorry. I hate you. If you're listening, I probably hate you. I love you, but I hate you.
Oh, it's just miserable.
Yeah, and it's like they just look at always to blame. Everybody's gonna like. There is like the subset of people that like understand what Bloom is doing and what Bloom's working towards, and then those people that it was like, "Oh, he traded Mookie," who, by the way, has been crap so far this season. And it's like that's not Imagine if Mookie Betts was playing the way he is right now in LA on the same contract in Boston, people would be freaking they'd be literally freaking out. So it's hilarious, but they're never going to get over trading Mookie Betts, even if the one season that Mookie ends up being great was the Dodgers 2020 season where they won their Mickey Mouse World Series. Like, it could be true because there's literally like 11 more years on that deal that they've got to deal with. He's 5'9" and he weighs like $180. Have fun.
Speaking of Hunter Renfroe, I saw him last night. He's doing great.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's Milwaukee. It's fun. There's zero pressure.
Yeah. They were fun last night. Back-to-back home runs. Those were fun. Andrew McCutchen knew I was there, so he did a pretty good job.
Played well for you.
He was, he was first at bat, and I was like, "Yes, baby, I love you." So, it's fun.
It seems like a fun park. I want to go there.
It's cool. And I like it because I was freezing and like wet the night before. But when you are at the Brewers game, it's a nice little roof and you're not freezing.
There's a part of me that was like, when Minnesota built their new ballpark and like didn't put a roof on, I was like, have fun. Like, and Target Field's gorgeous. I went there in like 2012 in like May. In May, it's lovely, but like, oh my God, I just couldn't imagine like those certain Midwest people not having, I don't know, retractable roofs. Like,
It's so stupid.
it's
Every
brutal.
stadium should have it.
They really should. I mean, there's obviously, you can't put one on Fenway.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, or I think maybe the three teams that can get away with it, like San Diego doesn't need one, LA doesn't need one, and Anaheim doesn't need one. It gets dicey up in Oakland. Throw a roof on for them, like,
Just, I mean, the Midwest states, like, there's no excuse for them to not have one.
I found something out about the Midwest that I find to be fascinating, and I need to go to this thing because I just did not know this thing called the Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just like, wait, a whole like town of water park hotels exist? I need to go to do this. I need to do this. It has to be on my bucket list.
Then you also need to go to the Cheese Castle in Wisconsin.
That also sounds incredible.
Yeah. Primo cheese there. It's good.
Yeah, my friend, he has a house on like a lake in Wisconsin, and I told him, I was like, I found out about this thing called the Wisconsin Dells. I was like, I need to visit you, and we need to do this, and we need to eat cheese. So yes, Cheese Castle sounds like it should be on my list of things to do.
Let me know when you come over, and I'll make a little day trip.
Sounds good. I was just like, this is so fun. I was like, I love a water park.
Wisconsin is so underrated. Like, it's actually a really cool state. And I mean, Milwaukee is just a really fun little city, and I recommend it.
Yeah, it's on my list of places to go for sure. Absolutely. So one day I'm going to make it there.
You just let me know.
I will, definitely. Absolutely. All right. So to some other baseball news, Chris Bryant on the IL because, of course, sore back. Just what you want to know. Just what you want after you have him sign that, huge, deal.
He's made of glass, though. He always has been. He's very injury prone.
Again, somebody else who's huge. What is with these like 6'4" men just being so fragile?
He's getting old. He's probably like 30 now.
Oh. I can feel it. I feel that getting old deep in my soul, especially after drinking on Friday with people that are younger than me. I was like,
I also always have a sore back. So I feel him on this one. I feel bad.
Oh, yeah, because nobody wants to be hurt, even if you're making all of this money. Like, nobody wants to be hurt, but yeah.
I still think he was just we need to desperately sell tickets grab.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know what's crazy though? Like watching these like Red Sox games when they were up in Toronto, like Toronto is a great team. There was like nobody there. Mm-hmm. So it's like even these teams that are good can't get this revenue, and it's frustrating. Baseball just has a whole problem overall, I think. If the Toronto Blue Jays can't put butts in seats.
It's also just not fun to watch right now. And again, it's early because it's still cold in a lot of places.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
It's still cold. Well, no, Toronto's got the roof, though.
They do. Climate controlled.
But still, I mean, it's cold, so a lot of these ballparks aren't going to be super full. But at the same time, it's not been fun to watch. And you made the, remark about power numbers being down, that whole dead ball thing, with the new balls. Like, there aren't, like, any home runs. And I get so tired of the phrase. I hear Steve Stone utter it almost every single broadcast, like, well, if it was July, that'd be a home run. I'm like, yeah, but
it's not July.
It's not July. We've got a ways away until it's like really warm and these balls are out of the park. But also, these new balls suck.
Yeah, like Chris Bassett was saying how like everyone just feels different,
and
that like somebody, I forget where I saw the comment, but somebody said like they were dented. Because like the you hit it like that, like it's like they're like denting them with the bats and stuff, and that's yeah. I forget where like I read that one, and I was like, wait, is this true that like there's like why are we effing with the balls? What was wrong with the juice ball era? It was fun.
Bring the juice balls back.
Like, who cares? I mean, sure, it pissed a couple of pitchers off. It's hilarious though. These balls are like dead as hell. Yet Nathan Eovaldi is giving up like the most home runs he's ever given up, and like he usually doesn't give up home runs.
Mhm.
But I can't say enough great things about Nathan Eovaldi though. 7 literal like one. I think he gave up 2 hits in 7 innings. He took a no hitter into the 6th,
Yeah.
and then guess what? The Red Sox lost the game for him. So good job, Red Sox. But I mean, that needs to be a priority, is like locking Nathan Eovaldi up, because he's aging like a fine wine. Like that boy is just getting better with age.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's had 2 Tommy John surgeries, so it's almost like a brand new elbow at like 31. I think he's like 31, 32. So
Well,
I'm like, re-sign him, Red Sox. Let's do it.
that's the same thing with Carlos Rodon. He's only
Mhm.
getting better. And he underwent that surgery, and now he's like phenomenal, lights out, like just insane numbers. And I'm still very, very bitter. that
Oh,
the
as you should be. I feel you.
qualifying offer.
I know. Yeah, they didn't even give him the qualifying offer, right?
No.
So like that's why I'm like that surprised that the Giants like easily, like you think there would have been more bidding in on him, considering there was no qualifying offer, that any team could have just been like, oh well, we don't even have to give up anything for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's somebody that the Red Sox I think could have potentially have gone after, you know. But I mean, again, I cannot be mad at like Rich Hill, who like went 4 like hitless innings the other day, and Michael Wacha. Don't know why Michael Wacha's pitching like a freaking ace. Like the Red Sox have like 3 to 4 like actual solid starters right now. It has been a little bit of a pen issue, and their bench is just, the bench isn't deep right now. And a part of that problem is like you wouldn't really care about the bench if like, you know, everybody outside of Xander Bogaerts just isn't hitting. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a bigger issue. I don't know what it is that they need to be. I believe in negative reinforcement, so I'll go in there and I'll scream at them if they want, you know.
Yes.
Just be like, y'all are terrible.
I'm ready to heckle some teams anyway.
Right? It's fun. It's fun.
They're all getting on my nerves.
All right, so then we have news coming out of San Diego that Joe Musgrove rejected an 8-year extension, $11 million per.
Yeah.
11 million per might be a little. I mean, I think Musgrove's fine. I don't necessarily think he is like, I think he's like a 3, a 4 maybe.
Yeah.
But I think like we just saw that like the perfect example of a number 4 is number 3 is Eduardo Rodriguez, and he just signed like more than that per. So if I'm Joe Musgrove, I'm probably like, I'm not gonna, even though he is from San Diego. I mean, you can't really fault these guys for making the money that they believe that they deserve.
Yeah, and the Padres spend money. The Padres they spend so much money, and they make really good deals. They make really good trades. So it's kind of surprising that they are lowballing him that much. Despite being, like you said, maybe a 3, maybe even a 4. I'd almost say he's a 4. I mean, when it comes to their roster, but
with their pitching that seems to always underperform, yet it is on paper it looks great. You know that he would definitely be like a 4 on that on the Padres. But he clearly thinks that he can get more, and he probably can. So get more. You know, I've come to the, you get these people that are like, oh, this person took a hometown discount. This person, people are like getting upset that Xander is going to opt out. And I was like, he already took 1 huge hometown discount. Do I think Xander Bogaerts is worth $35 million a year? Hell no. But like, if some team is stupid enough to play in that, go get your own Xander. I think the Red Sox should pay him maybe 30 per. I'm not giving 35.
Although if he does go into free agency, other people like Jacob deGrom will be up for it. Justin Verlander will be up for it. Noah Syndergaard would be up for it. So like, those are some big names that are arguably a lot better than Joe Musgrove. I mean, Jacob deGrom is probably the best pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Another built like glass, but yes, when healthy, 100% agree with you.
He might be back by June. I still have not seen a bunch of MRI results, but rumor has it might be like mid-June.
That would be great for the Mets. I mean, they've already been playing so well without him. Just imagine if like you play as well as you do before you get him back. It's like the Red Sox, I was hoping that they were going to hold water until Chris Sale came back, but I don't know. They just look like they're going to just poop themselves before he comes back. So if you can play really well without Jacob deGrom, imagine what adding Jacob deGrom back into the mix is.
Yeah.
But
I do hope he's back by June. I'd love to see him potentially in July because I'll see them early July.
Oh, are you gonna see them in New York, or are they coming? What was that? Sorry.
Cincinnati. Those
Oh, cool. You're gonna see them at Cincinnati.
are so cheap right now because one, everyone hates the owners, and two, they're producing a horrible product. I didn't write this. I should have. Joey Votto did not really mince words when saying like this has been his worst season yet because they were like 3-16. And they were like, well, did you forget about 2018? And he was like, no, this was worse than 2018. And I was like, and he's embarrassed by it. Like he is just humiliated with the product that they are trying to sell right now.
How much how cheap are we talking ticket wise?
So I have tickets on the first baseline, the second row, and I spent under $200 for 4 tickets. It was like 180, and that's after tax and everything. 4 tickets, first baseline, second row.
Okay, I could probably fly there, get tickets less than it would cost because that's like $250 for a seat at Fenway.
Yeah,
maybe even more.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy that. Damn, that's gonna be a hell of a time.
$2 a piece. So I was like, I'm gonna yell "I love you" to Pete Alonso. I told my son, I was like, bring a Sharpie because one, he's really nice and he's always like signing for fans. And I was like, and two, you're gonna be super close to him.
Yeah. Oh, you'll definitely get an autograph.
We'll try to hunt down a Pete Alonso card if you don't already have it. Like, bring something.
That's
cool. There's a good chance you can get his autograph.
That's really cool. Oh my god, that is so ridiculously cheap.
Yeah, it was
like that's crazy. I paid like I went to Dodger Stadium like 2 weeks ago. Also, Dodger Stadium is just a bitch to get to. I'm sorry. It's in a friggin' ravine. It's a bitch. Anyways, I think my mom and I paid like $50 each and they were in the heavens.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what like second row first baseline would cost at Dodger Stadium.
Yes, if you're listening and you're in the Midwest and your team plays the Reds, just go get those tickets now.
Yeah, just hit up Great American.
It's also great. Gorgeous ballpark too.
It looks it. Also, of all the names that have that are named after a conglomerate, they win the prize because Great American Ballpark sounds awesome. Even though it is named after like an insurance company, because they don't say Great American Insurance Ballpark. Mm-hmm. They just say Great American Ballpark. So it just sounds like a great name,
Favorite pastime.
Exactly.
So, and it's a cool park. Like, obviously the team is no good, but if you ever just even if you just like go tour Great American, it's a cool park to be at.
Yeah, it's right on like the water too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always really cool. That's a cool vibe. All right. Oh, also speaking of the Mets, they had a combined no-hitter.
Yes.
5 pitchers. It was McGill, Smith, Rodriguez, Lugo, and Diaz. They closed it out and crazy. Like I love how like that I just was like I was Googling like news that I like try to do this because I was like, I'm just so behind with work and stuff. So I love how that's like something I didn't even like hear about because it was a combined no-hitter. It's like, it's like, oh, but I'm like, that's still cool.
So Tyler McGill is like my dude. He's like fun to watch now. And he's fun. Like you can tell he's just got so much energy and man, he's gonna be good. So I'm really excited. I mean, they have like all of the best pitchers right now in baseball on their team. I mean, aside from Kershaw.
Yeah. Who, speaking of Kershaw, he is now the leader of Dodgers strikeouts. Like not a single person has more strikeouts in the history of I assume it's like the entire Dodgers history, like going back to Brooklyn, than Clayton Kershaw. But the idea of like when people were thinking, oh, is he going to leave and is he going to go to Texas? When you're this close to breaking records for such a storied franchise, you're not going to Texas. You know. So it's great to see what he's doing. And then, when he had his near perfect game and that he's just pitching as well as he is at his age is great to see. Unfortunately, it has to be for the superpower Dodgers. But I mean, like, even the Super Bowl, like, of course, the team with the best record, I think, in baseball has to be the team that I despise more than anybody. I don't understand how the Yankees are good. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't. Maybe they were peaking in April. That's great. Does not compute with me.
Didn't Garrett Cole just go into like the eighth pitching the other day?
Yeah, he's just been pitching his ass off all of a sudden.
I think I saw that headline somewhere. But yeah, he's been perfectly fine, which sucks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but then again, he could be great now and then poop himself in the playoffs again,
That's
which
true.
I'm more than fine with, but yeah, it's like they've just been playing out of their minds. Yeah, they're 16-6. Yeah, they have the most wins in baseball right now.
Oh my gosh, I just saw Shohei exited the game with groin tightness.
Oh, I did see that, which is, I hate that he's hurt, but I love that means the Red Sox aren't probably going to have to face him coming up.
Yeah, well, they were in Chicago.
And he's good. He's good. But the Red Sox still have to face Mike Trout, and he's Mike Trout, so.
Best in baseball.
He really is. I mean, people can try to argue it. You're going to lose that argument, though, But, yeah. Oh, also, another thing that I was looking up, apparently over 1,000 minor leaguers are still owed money for spring training. So what do we do in Major League Baseball? We just made an example with, like, Trevor Bauer doing great things, and now you're still, giving the shaft to your minor leaguers. I hate it.
And there was that story coming out where, like, they were finally getting paid from October, and it was, like, $10.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you have the dream of like making the majors, but like that dream can somehow take forever. And perfect example is after 11 years in the minors, San Francisco Giants Jason Kurzan, I'm not sure if that's right. It looks like it's Kazan. He made his major league debut finally. Imagine that. That's somebody who clearly loves this game, that this is someone who's put up with all of that. And I assume he wasn't a high draft pick. So I'm assuming he didn't just have millions in the bank while, eating, like cheese sandwiches in the minors. He was probably eating cheese sandwiches and having to work other jobs. Well,
yeah, he's doing Uber on the side, like they all seem to be doing, unfortunately.
It's like, and then finally gets to make it though. So I was like, those are stories that just warm my heart because these are the guys that love this sport so much and they want to play this sport and they're finally given a chance to do so.
It's heartwarming, but at the same time, it's disgusting just knowing how poorly they are treated.
It's awful. Like, it's awful. I just don't know. It's like, what can we do to help that? Like what can be done? But Major League Baseball just clearly doesn't care. Mm-hmm. And then they're the guinea pigs for everything too. So it's like, because they don't have this union, it's like, oh, we want to try out this new thing. Yeah, we'll just do it with the minors. So yeah, really, they're like lab rats, honestly, for MLB.
That's just it's so great. I mean, I could go on for like 7 years.
Years about how bad it is. Yeah. That's terrible. Well, I guess there's one last good bit of news. Kelsey Whitmore became the first woman to start a game in the Atlantic League of Professional Baseball. She played left field and she batted ninth for the Staten Island Ferry Hawks.
That is so cool.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. Great things are happening for women. And it's proving that, like, this woman is just out here competing with these men. Like, it's not even just because, like, a lot of women, it's like, oh, this person's a pitcher and it might be an easier transition. This woman's getting out there. She's getting in the batter's box and she's facing a man throwing at her. Like, this is insane. And playing the field. Like, I love it. I love it.
It reminds me, one of my aunts, she's actually the one that got me into baseball in general. Growing up, she did not want to play softball. She played baseball. She was a catcher. So that's like tough already. You've got to be tough to be a catcher. And like, she would not conform to softball. She's like, no, I want to play baseball. I like baseball. I want to be a catcher.
I don't blame her. Like, people always ask me, they're like, do you like softball? I'm like, no. Or did you play softball? I'm like, no. I'm like, sorry. Like, I'll watch softball and be like, yeah, it's fine. Whereas, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess like it's the thing. It's like you grow up with something. Like, there's other sports. Like, I think hockey's boring as shit. And I know it's like, but technically, it's the one that like is so fast paced. But I'm just like,
A lot of people just lose track of the puck. Like, if you're new to hockey, you're like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? I don't see a puck. Why are they fighting?
I feel like if it was live, it would be more fun. Like, if I was there. like at a hockey game. I'd probably be more into it
Live
than
hockey is a
I
blast.
feel like that's like thing. And I've only ever, when it comes to live sports, I've actually only ever been to baseball and like a single basketball game.
Oh, I've seen probably just about every professional sport. I've even been to WNBA. I was at a WNBA championship game for the Indiana Fever.
That's fun.
That was a ton of fun.
I bet it's fun. I mean, the basketball game I had, but I like watching. Like I find basketball to be fun. Like when I'm watching it. Yeah, but like one of my friends from grad school, she was like her family's like super Canadian, so she like grew up like super hockey, like played hockey, loved hockey, and I'm just like, okay. Like I was just like, I'm glad you have this passion because I was like, I love baseball. So like the way you talk about hockey is like the way I talk and feel about baseball. So it's like not a judgment on like, because people are like, of all the sports, it's baseball. I was like, of all the sports, I'm like, you think it's slow, but it's not. It's great, you know. But that's my rant.
It's fine. Hockey is tough to get into. I mean, it is. I grew up with hockey and I grew up with baseball. My mom was a big hockey fan, and so she kind of got me. And we had like a minor team down here. We had the Indianapolis Ice. Um,
That's a cool
so that
name.
was fun. And I was seeing that like as a baby. I was watching baseball as a toddler. So I mean, I grew up on those. So I knew all of the rules. I knew players. Like I could relate to it better. And then as I got older, I got really into basketball, which, is a blast too. And I mean, that was when, the Bulls were winning all those championships. Michael Jordan was the biggest player in basketball.
Yeah,
And
of course.
despite growing up in Indiana and like watching the Pacers, like there was also Reggie Miller and Rick Smith. You had all these big names, and the Knicks were great. And it was just like a really fun time in basketball. So I enjoyed that a lot too. But football's the one I can't
Oh
get
yeah,
into.
I don't like football either.
You can't do it. My son is really into football, and he like
Oh,
tries to tell me all of these like
oh,
stats, and he'll like give me player updates and like draft updates. And I was like,
cool.
those are names. Yeah, that's cool.
Those are people.
I'll listen
Yeah.
to them, but I'm just like,
Yeah,
that's
no,
great.
that's like totally how I feel just about most sports outside of baseball. And I think it's because it's the one that it's the one you've grown up with, it's the one that's like ingrained in you. You're gonna have a visceral reaction to it over something else. Like I've been to Cooperstown and I love going. I've been there multiple times. Every time I love going. I love the atmosphere of the Hall of Fame. I love the little town of Cooperstown in and of itself. It has this like just such cute vibes to it. So I love it. I went to Toronto maybe like a decade ago, let's say at this point, with my parents and then our cousins. And like our cousin was like, he's the one that was like into like every baseball was his number one, but like he was into like all the Boston sports. So while we're there, it's like that's where the Hockey Hall of Fame is.
Mhm.
So we were all like, all right, we'll bite the bullet, like we'll go. My mom and I don't think I've ever been more bored in our entire lives. And like I bet this is how people feel when they go to the Baseball Hall of Fame too, if you don't like something, you know?
I enjoyed the Hockey Hall of Fame. We went on our honeymoon.
I'm sure it's great if you love hockey. Like I saw the Bruins, this was post 2010 at least, because I saw the Bruins like ring there. I think it's really cool that I've seen all four major sports teams win a championship. Even the Revolution soccer team, like they're pretty good. They've gotten to the MLS Cup a few times. They've never taken it home, but they've gotten close. But at least the four major sports, like I think that's pretty cool. But the only ones that I really care about are the four that the Red Sox have won. Like truthfully.
Yeah. If you ever in Kentucky, you need to go to the Slugger Museum.
Oh, is it cool?
It is really, really cool.
I know. I mean, I feel like I don't know when I'll ever be in Louisville, but I feel like it seems cool.
You can even get like a custom bat, and they have this like little exhibit with like a bunch of like game used, well-known bats, like from several teams. Like you could find just about anyone, and like
That's cool.
you have to wear gloves
To touch it.
they won't let you touch it without the gloves, but like you can hold them and pose with
cool.
bats, and like it's a really, really cool museum. I highly recommend it. We've taken the kids a few times now. And
Yeah,
like it never gets old because it changes a lot.
And there's different things coming in. I do love the idea of like the white gloves because I work at Paramount and we have an Oscar that we can display to the people that are coming to take the tours, but like we have to wear white gloves, but then we allow them to manhandle it, which I find to be extra hilarious. I think it's just like we have the white gloves to like look like we're like presenting it like really cool and fancy, and then all these paying guests just get to like touch it. I'm like, I made the joke. I was like to my friend Scott, who's like the head of, he's like above us, and I was like, Scott, I'm not doing this Oscar thing. And he's like, why? And I was like, because I'm not touching one until I win one. And then he looked at me and he was like, you're joking. I was like, I am. He goes, we had a girl here like 3 years ago that like she was not joking and like refused to do it.
So that's the thing with the Stanley Cup. You're not supposed to touch the cup.
Like, yeah, they drink from it.
Yeah, they drink. I mean, the players obviously are,
yeah,
they do whatever, but like as a fan, you're not supposed to touch the cup because there's this old lore that if you do, your team will never hoist that cup.
It's like a spirit stick, and
yeah, it is. So I'm like always like, we posed with the cup.
You're like five away from it.
This was back when I actually supported the Blackhawks. I no longer support the Blackhawks, but I'm like in the picture, I'm like nowhere near it. Like I'm as far away from the cup as can be. And my husband is touching the top of it. And I was like, you've ruined it. And now I kind of low-key blame him for the downfall of the Blackhawks. Like I know it's all organization-wide, but I was like, you touched the cup.
It's on you. It's on you.
And now the Blackhawks suck and are a dumpster fire of an organization, and it's because you touched it.
One thing.
Yeah, all of I've been near that cup so many times, and I will never touch it.
That's too funny. I like that. I didn't know that that's why you weren't supposed to touch it.
Do not touch that cup, or your team will never, ever win again.
Well, I've never been near it, so don't have to worry.
That's good. I don't even think we really have a team in this.
I'm just like, cool. Bruins, good for you guys. Fingers, thumbs up. Is there any other news that we may have missed? Or we think we exhausted the week?
I think we got a lot of it. So
we did.
I don't know. Pick your side on who you want to win when I'm in Boston next weekend. You have to either be Team Crystal or Team Bailey.
Yes, that is true. That is true. My Sox fans or her Sox fans. It's like,
yeah, I'm gonna go to Salem the day before and maybe hex your Sox. I don't know.
Don't. You can hex them for that series, but then like put some good juju on them moving forward, because
I will.
Because I don't know what the hell is going on. I really don't.
Just like, even if the Sox win 2, or even if my Sox just win the game I'm attending, I'm fine.
Yes.
The Sox can do whatever else they want. But Saturday, I really need the White Sox to win for my mental health at this point.
I feel you about that. I really do. I really do. It's like, I don't know if I blame myself for like not being as invested as I could be because of my job, that I'm like, is it me because I'm not watching them? But no, I watched every game in like 2020 and they were terrible. So
all of them too.
You know, it's like, no, they're just bad right now. You know, and I can't even say like it hit May and they sucked even in May. So maybe going forward more of May, my team will start to play better. Our teams will start to play better.
Yeah. Or let's just go Mets for all I care.
Go Mets. That's my cousin's favorite team. So I was rooting for them in 2015 in the World Series and, you know, Kansas City. But hey, Kansas City, speaking of Kansas City, last thing I'll say, I've always wanted to go to the Negro Leagues Museum. That's something I've always wanted to do.
I do too. I really, really want to go see that.
And I was just like, but I'm like, the thing is, I'm like, when am I going to be in Kansas? You know, that's the thing.
You don't go to Kansas City. Like,
yeah. I was like, am I going to go to Kansas City to, like, I don't know. I think the only reason I would go to Kansas City is to like complete the whole, like all 30 ballparks or 29, because I don't need to ever step foot in Yankee Stadium. That's fine. All right. Well, that's this week's episode of Soxy Chicks. If you want to hit us up, vent into the void with us about how bad your team is, like, please do, because our teams are terrible right now.
Yes, we need positivity.
Yes, so, we do.
If you have a great team that's not the Yankees, let us know.
Yeah, please do. And if it's the Yankees, you still haven't won anything since 2009. So,
or if you just want to be miserable, just, you know.
Yeah. Be miserable with us. But thank you, everybody, for listening.
Yeah. Bye.